Hi, it's Frank with OxygenGuy.com. Here again, once again, for you here today. Live on YouTube, so to speak, on tape, video, good stuff. Like us, subscribe, join us. This is how to use your concentrator, oxygen concentrator, part 2. Basically, we're going to expand upon what we did last time. This here is a Invicare Perfecto concentrator. Nice light machine. Now, what we talked about last time was the on-off switch, power reset button, and then the green where oxygen is coming through and you're in good shape. The yellow, time to have one of us check it out, or the red where the machine is completely shutting down, failing the alarm. This is where the oxygen comes out here, little tip, and this is where we turn the oxygen up and down. But essentially, when this machine is turned back on, it should go to its last setting that it was set at. I'm going to talk a little bit more this time about this, including the fact, which we did also last time, that there was a filter on the back that you replace every year at least, and you wash soapy water, rinse with cold water, dry it before putting it back on, and it's ready to roll. But this maintenance will keep the machine from in an optimum shape and keep it from having any issues prematurely. Noisy. Okay, now let's turn this on. On-off switch right here. Now, as I said before, they do have sound. The thing to remember is there are ways to mitigate the sound in a house. It really depends on the situation in particular. Now, as far as how much air it's putting out, I tell people you could literally take your tubing, which I'm going to put it on direct. You could take your tubing, say your cannula, drop it in a glass of water, and it would literally start to bubble, showing that there's air coming through the line. If it's not bubbling, then there's no air coming through the line. Now, for my purpose, I actually have what we call a flow pen that I can attach my tubing to. I can get an exact reading on how much air is being put out. So I can actually turn it up. There's 4 liters, there's 5. Usually like to put the ball almost center, just a little below it. And we drop it back down. There we go, 2 liters. Pretty handy. Now, that's the airflow pen. This here is actually an oxygen meter. It measures what's coming out. Now, it has to be calibrated on a daily basis to get the best possible readings. But essentially, most of these machines, when they're running optimal, should be running somewhere between 93 to 95%. They can be slightly over or slightly under, but basically where I want them is between 93 to 95. Especially when you consider the fact that it might be 6 months between my next check. So I want to make sure the customer's getting the best possible air they can get. So, the meter is actually starting to read, and it's floating up. I'm actually sitting at 81.6 right now. So we're going to let that continue to go up. And while that's doing that, it's actually going to hit a top point where it's going to plateau. And at that point I'll be able to look at it and see what the reading is and tell what this machine's putting out a rate of. So, while we're doing that, we're looking a little bit further. Did talk about this is where the bottle holder would be. Water bottle, humidifier bottle. Someone wanted to put water into the lines to try to put a water mist, so to speak, to try to moisten the nose. And there we go, still coming up. Takes about a minute or so. I'm actually sitting at 92.1 right now, still coming up. 92.5, 92.7, very cool. 93.1, great shape. Doing well, gotta love that. Getting there. Actually, what we test at is 2 and 5. Basically, 2 is usually the standard of what a lot of people go on, and then 5 take it up to a higher level. even if the person's only on 2 liters, the thing is, if the machine's starting to fail, it's going to probably start at the higher liter flow, and that's where we can catch a machine starting to have issues. You'd rather pull it before it fails at the actual level and the person has problems. So it's kind of like being able to tell the future, so to speak, with your oxygen machine. And I always tell people, if you can't feel it, call us. We'll check it. If we check it and everything checks out right, the pressure's good, the quality is good, at that point it's time to talk to your doctor. Don't take things into your own hands and push up your oxygen levels, because you'd be doing more harm than good. Always follow your doctor's advice. There we go. Yep, 95.5. This machine is running really good. Gotta like that. Okay, so that takes care of that part. We're going to remove that. Power that off. No sense in wasting any battery. As always, I use my wipes. These are Meticide wipes. It's basically a hospital strength disinfectant, cleaner, all that good stuff rolled up into one. Definitely don't want to leave these around for the kids or the dog. It's a matter of making sure I don't leave anything behind. There we go. Want our customers to stay happy and healthy. Okay, so that's good. This machine has been cleared. Good shape. Now let's talk about sound. A lot of cases with these, if you're on a wooden floor, what can happen is the machine actually is floating on a bed of springs, so to speak. The motor inside the machine, excuse me. And with that being the case, it can cause a vibration, especially in some of the older models. Now, one thing you can do to try to mitigate some of the sound coming from the machine is to put a carpet or a rug, or maybe even 2 under the machine. The vibration is going to be muffled some, and it'll actually take down the sound a couple decibels, which would make a big difference between 75 and what would be nice to see something around 52, 53 decibels. But with that being the case, that's one way you can do it. You can also put it in another room, but never put one of these in a closet, because just like your car, if you were to take the air out of the car, so to speak, for the engine, and you block up the air filter, the engine's going to shut down. Same thing with this. You want to have air space in and around it. You can't push the machine up against the wall, and you don't want it in a tight enclosed room. It's going to cause problems. But what you can do is you can put it in another room entirely and run tubing into the other room. Essentially, you can put 50 feet of tubing plus your 7-foot cannula. That gives you 57 feet worth of running room. And a lot of houses, if you put it approximately in the middle of the house, it's going to give you room to move. Like I said, if you kind of put it off into another room, or even behind an enclosure or something where it's not cut off from everything, but the sound isn't coming directly out. It's basically a matter of practicing with different things to see what works best. Another thing you can do, my third tip essentially, is run a fan, especially at night. Personally, I love to have a fan just kind of floating over me with the air, and it's just kind of keeping that little constant noise on. With an oxygen machine, it probably pretty much, I would have to say, pretty much camouflages it. It really depends. So if you're an extremely light sleeper, I would probably just more likely just move it to another room. That's probably going to be your best bet. Like I said, carpet, fan, moving it around, trying different spots. The nice part is most of these come on wheels, so you can move them around, test it, experiment with it to an extent. You just want to be careful. You don't want to break it. These are expensive. And you want to be able to get your air. You want to be able to get good air, but you want to be able to get air that you can stand. But I think we're in good shape. That's how to use your oxygen concentrator part 2. Lots more detail in this video. Join us soon. We're going to have more videos. Like us, love us, subscribe to us. We'll see you soon. Have a good one. Now where's that switch? There it is. That is quieter. Catch you later.